So I run my Inc. 5000 business off about 13 systems that I've really been able to implement across multiple departments to allow me to scale. It really starts with foundational work and understanding what system you need to implement first. So actually system number one is really focused on understanding constraints inside your business. So quick concept here, the theory of constraints really is just focused on what's actually holding you back. So I use an example all the time, and if you've seen it in my videos, I'm sorry, you're gonna see it again, but a constraint or bottleneck is really just when you have one thing that's holding you back from growing. So with headphones, when it comes to bottlenecks or more like manufacturing, you're producing 2 earbuds in here and then 1 case. So if I was able to produce 10 earbuds an hour and then only 3 cases an hour, I can max output 3 final products. So the constraint in this example is not the case, it's the earbuds. However, unintentionally, a lot of business owners don't see or understand the theory of constraints. So they might invest in creating more earbuds per hour. So that way they have 20 earbuds per hour because they think that's gonna grow and scale their business. But all it's really done is create waste. And another way to look at this is we want to solve the right problem the right way. And I have a little fancy matrix that says, right problem, wrong way, wrong problem, wrong way, and so on. But the focus is understanding if I solve this problem, will my business grow? If the answer to that is yes, then it's actually a constraint in your business. So the next thing you have to ask yourself is, my business is going to grow by $100,000 a year, but it cost me $1 million to implement. It might not be worth it, or at least not worth it at the moment. So that system one is understanding where to start fixing or systemizing in your business. Then system two is really focused on documenting the process that you want to fix before you fix it. So standard operating procedures is really a key. So these SOPs really help you systemize your business, and they're the baseline for improvement. You don't really want to improve something until you truly understand what you're currently doing. So a lot of times we document that just by recording a Loom video and then having it take the transcript and have AI actually put down every single step that we're doing. And that way we make sure not to miss something. Then we'll document that, and then we'll start looking at whether we can automate, eliminate, or delegate these tasks after we have a clear understanding of what's currently working, so we can just improve it versus really just starting over. Now, step 3 in understanding the systems of your business is really focused on AI. So obviously AI is a newer tool, and it's not really a system itself, but understanding how you can take information from previous steps, whether that be the bottlenecks, the constraints in your business, the documentation you have, and then once you start making those improvements, how you can implement that knowledge into AI so you can automate and delegate through this workflow. One of the cool ways that my team uses it is we have an AI case study matcher in Slack. So if someone's on a sales call, they can say, hey, what's a really good case study that works with AI? And it'll pull it up instantly. We also use AI and automation to do something like if they have a new hot lead that books a call with one of our salespeople, it'll automatically text the salesperson, hey, you have this hot lead who has been pre-qualified, and based on their input says, they need to start tomorrow, so they have high intent. So AI can be really, really powerful, but only with the right prompt engineering, which we really need to understand. And you can do that through standard operating procedures. Now, the next piece of this is obviously focusing on branding and storytelling and marketing. No business is going to survive without a really good baseline. One of the things I teach in Founder Systems AI is how to come up with hundreds of logo ideas, a brand story, a mission. And one of the things that I think is most key is really explaining why you need to do something in every single step of your business. The why is so important. That ties with the goals and the mission of the business. So understanding not even the fancy marketing that's going to make you sales, but the why behind what you're doing will help you make decisions in the future. Now, if you like content like this, I am kind of going through the Founder Systems AI structure, which is the course down below. And I do have a whole bunch of freebies down below. So even if you're not interested, grab those templates and SOPs because they will help you scale your business. The next piece in here that we're working on is obviously operations and leadership. If you're lucky enough, your team will start to grow, and you'll really need to go through some changes in your business. When you have a team of 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't have to have as much leadership and operational structure, because probably everyone's going to report to you. If they have questions, they're going to come to you. But this can become very cumbersome very quickly, which is why we jump back up to that might be a constraint in your business, which is you, and we have to figure out how to remove that. So putting those standard operating procedures in place, and then starting to get some clear leadership. So maybe you just don't like doing billing, you don't want to have anyone report to you about billing. That's where you'd start implementing something to do that. Or maybe sales is exhausting to you, or you just don't feel like you're that good and someone can do it better. That's where really structuring that org and finding the right people to set up your operations is going to be key. Now, after you have that in check, you really need to dial in your sales process. In this, we're at System 5, which is just that sales process. And in Founder System AI, we go super deep into this, but it's very simple in the sense that sales is a numbers game, and you have to have the people to help you hit the numbers to grow the way you want. So most companies have a close rate anywhere from 10 to 35%, some higher, but it's rare. So you have to understand that if your close rate is 10%, if you have 100 qualified people, you'll close 10. So theoretically, if you have a setter, so if you have these systems in place, they can just speed things up. So theoretically, every salesperson you add, if they're able to keep their calendar full and talk to these people, you're going to make more money. Now, of course, there's the problem of keeping their calendar full, building out the systems, having the management above it, so the org structure. But that's one of the key pieces, and that's how you really start with. You as a founder should stop doing the sales and start bringing in someone so you can at least grow and expand off of that. Then, of course, System 6 is focused on lead generation, because if you have multiple salespeople but you don't have enough leads, then you're going to be struggling. Now, one of the key things that I teach is using email marketing, using tools like Instantly AI, Apollo, Clay. These tools are really powerful for email marketing and doing cold prospecting, but there's so many different ways to do lead generation. It could be cold calling from your salespeople. It can obviously be advertisements. It can be Google. So understanding how you're driving leads to your sales is the next key system that you need in place as you're looking to expand these departments. So if you've slowly gone through and started implementing these and they're not the constraints in your business, there's a good chance that client acquisition or onboarding and probably delivering that service becomes super important. You've had a few clients, you're having some success, but you need to really build out this robust system around client onboarding and making sure that they're successful in their first 30, 60, 90 days. So that way they stay with you for the long haul. So one of the things that we do is we have an automated onboarding system where as soon as they make a payment, it's a super simple payment. They get an onboarding form with a contract in there, and then they're able to actually start pretty much right away. As soon as that onboarding is done, we use some automation and it goes into our project management software. In that project management software, it notifies our COO, who then assigns the team, and that team same day will reach out manually to that lead and welcome them and offer to book that discovery call. So it's a mixture of automation, project management, and human touch that for high glove, white ticket services are the most power. But the biggest piece here is we were able to systemize the majority of it. And even through the onboarding call and building out the Asana task with our project management software, it's all structured in a very clear system. Now, System 8 is one of those things that is great once you start scaling, and it's focused on recruiting and bringing in new top talent. So my goal here is to give you enough information to really just start doing these things so you don't need me. And we use an application tracking software when we talk about recruiting, and it's like a CRM for recruiting. And the biggest thing is for us, we use Breezy HR, and we're able to do assessments, video interviews, and then we can post to hundreds, if not thousands of job boards, but then it puts it all into a CRM style kind of program where we can move people along the hiring process, and it allows us to find the right talent quicker and have better results. One of the biggest systems in your business is going to be the people that you bring in who are smarter than you and allow you to scale through that specific system. Now, system number 9 is focused on financial controls. So finances and QuickBooks and accounting is very complicated. So with this, I always recommend, of course, having a great CPA, but we use 2 key tools that allow us to systemize this part of our business. So we don't need as many people, we don't need a controller, we just use an admin and a CPA. So the tools that I use are Brex and Bill Spend Expense, which used to be Divvy. Now, Brex, what it does is basically a virtual bank account, but you can have multiple virtual bank accounts like you could multiple credit cards, and it will allow you to control spend. So I can give someone a specific budget, or if they're sending money out of my account, I can set it so I have to approve it, or a billing admin has to approve it, or if you have a co-founder, both of you have to approve it. And these allow you to give your team full access to basically run the business. And then all you have to do is approve an email or put an approver in place that you truly trust. Now, I would recommend being careful with who you put in place that you say you think you trust, because luckily I've never had the issue, but I know a lot of founders that have had money stolen out of their accounts. So this is a really good control system, and you can do things like positive pay, which just means you have to improve all pools against your account so that way money just doesn't disappear. So now Divvy is now Bill Spend Expense is basically the exact same thing but for credit cards. I can give my COO a credit card with a budget attached to it. So every month she has $1,000 to spend and she can't spend a penny more without my approval. And that's just based on whatever budget she has at the time. So maybe I know that she needs to spend $1,000 a month on certain things. She has that, so she doesn't have to ask me every single time, and she can be successful in her business, but I lower the risk of $100,000 disappearing or something like that. Not that my COO would, but just in general, you're protecting yourself. And even better with all of these, it automatically links to QuickBooks or other accounting tools. So it will automatically sync to your chart of accounts, saving you, if you're doing a lot of transactions, it saves us over 30 hours a week, specifically on bookkeeping and accounting. Now, system 10 is legal. And for each one of these systems, obviously they fit with a department typically, but there are also pain points or constraints I've had in my business. One of the biggest constraints when we were a new business is we didn't really have contracts. We just trusted people that if they signed up and paid us, that they would let us keep the money. And what we found is some businesses, when they're having financial strains or things like that, they regret the purchases they've made, even if we did everything we were supposed to. And specifically our first year, we found that end of year, December, when everyone was doing their bookkeeping, we had a lot of chargebacks, which was very unusual for us. And what we realized is certain people were charging back an entire 6 months, an entire year. So a lot of money got stolen from our account, even though we have email communication of how great we were doing, all of these things. And of course, I probably could have sued and pursued that. But instead of kind of tearing apart my business and banging my head against my wall, I sat down with my business partner, like, how are we going to solve this? And it seems so simple, but structuring legal contracts correctly to protect yourself, and if you need to do a credit card dispute, to make sure that you're protected there, was one of the key things that we implemented. And so it not only did it just legitimized the whole thing. So it wasn't even that we had contracts, it was that the scope was very clear. It was another level of them approving the credit card transaction or the payment, and it helped protect us against liability. So I would say system 10, legal, it was so critical for us, probably something we should have implemented earlier, but you live and you learn. Now, 11, we've already talked about this a few times. I have it as AI and automation, but really since we were talking about AI, it's really automating everything. So we talked about how we're going to automate our onboarding, how we have automated messages going to sales, how we're integrating AI to make it smarter and more powerful. So tools that I use for there, the easiest is still Zapier. I think Make is the next easiest, and then N8N is fairly advanced, but if you have someone on your team that can learn it, there's a lot of benefits to it, and you can build some really, really cool things with N8N. A lot of times you're building a software. With what I would call it with Zapier, you're more like building a workflow using some AI and having some automation. And then with Make, you're kind of in between, where you can do some software style things and some more workflow style things. Then System 12. If you made it this far, thank you. System 12 is a personal one. It's lifestyle and balance. It's focusing on how do I control where my time is going, where my energy is going, and how do I have what I call an and life? How do I have a successful business and a good at-home relationship and stay in shape and get to travel. And so I really explain what I've done here, but the biggest takeaway that I teach is time control. So whether it's doing time studies, scheduling out your week, using your calendar properly, but making sure to build in the time for the things you want to do. So my calendar every morning says gym. There's a time slot for gym. I go to the chiropractor once a week. I go to the sauna almost every morning. I eat healthy. I use a meal prep company. And so I've kind of reclaimed some of my time by doing less meetings, by using the systems above. So you kind of have to build all of this in together and architect your business in a way that you actually want to run. And this is something that I struggle with, and I have really good months and really bad months, which I call seasons, and that's perfectly fine. But what I'm focused on through all of these systems is architecting a business that allows me to have the escapes in the time that I want. And if I really want to dive deeper into business, I can then still do that. Now, 13 is not really even a system. It's just making sure that you have the right tools in place and the right documentation to be successful. Don't try to recreate the wheel. Don't build something in N8N when you can just go buy a best in class for $30 a month. There are so many tools that are coming out rapidly, and you might be able to build it and make it slightly cheaper. But the thing is, a lot of times these tools get updated, they integrate better, they work faster, they've already solved most of your problems. I only go build custom things when I can't find a tool that does what I want. And I think with AI, we're gonna get closer and closer to all of these tools being in place really, really quickly. The biggest reason why I use things like N8N is because of all the SOPs and knowledge that I'm able to put into the tools. And that's what a lot of software that even does something similar to what I want just doesn't quite have yet, is the ability to build these custom knowledge bases and build your custom prompts. Now, kind of a bonus, system 14 is lifestyle and travel. So focus again on, we already said lifestyle at 12, but really focused on things like utilizing what you're already spending. So your credit card points and how to travel and really fly first class and live the lifestyle you want. So short hack there is, of course, make sure you have a credit card that's giving points. I love the Chase infrastructure the best, so I would start with Chase personally. Every card has their own benefits, but with Chase, it has access to things like Hyatt, which is the best way to spend on hotels. And you can do economy travel, you can transfer your points, and you can do luxury travel. I've traveled first class around the world on points specifically, and I personally haven't paid for a flight in over 10 years unless it just wasn't a good deal and I didn't want to use my points that way. So I hope you liked these systems that you can implement into your business. This is exactly what I teach in Founder Systems AI. But if you don't want to join Founder Systems AI, which you can grab that link below, don't worry, because I'm going to continue to release videos on each part of this because I truly believe in giving back and helping people scale. I didn't really give a quick intro at the beginning, but if you don't know me and you've made it this far, I appreciate it. I'm the founder of Auto Public Relations and Founder Systems AI. I've done over $25 million in sales, and I have a degree in industrial and systems engineering, working at Fortune 500 companies, building systems, allowing them to scale and kind of reduce costs in their business. So if you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Thank you.